Good morning, dear children. You are with Srilata ma'am in English literature class. Let's continue with Merchant of Venice, Act 4, Scene 1. Hope you have read the previous part. And let's continue now from line number 90. So, before we saw that, a court was set up in Venice with the Duke as a judge. And Duke was also trying to dissuade Shylock from taking the penalty. Now let's continue from line number 90. Shylock answered to Duke. What was Duke's question? Duke, how shall thou hope for mercy, rendering none? Shylock was not showing any mercy towards Antonio. So Duke asked him, if you do not show mercy to others, how do you expect mercy from God? God will not be merciful to you. Shylock, what judgment shall I dread, doing no wrong? Shylock is asking, I have not done anything wrong. So, what punishment I am going to get? What judgment? Judgment, that is punishment after death. What I am going to get? Nothing. I am not going to get any punishment after my death. Then, you have among you many a purchased slave, which, like your asses and your dogs and mules, you use in abject and in slavish parts, because you bought them. So what he is telling, that he is giving example that that he is not going to get punishment from God. He tells Duke that he has many slaves, that is Duke has many slaves, and like asses, dogs, mules, and Duke uses them for many tasks. Why he is using them? Because he has bought them. They are his slaves. Shall I say to you, let them be free, marry them to your heirs? Shylock asks, do I say, give them free and allow them to marry your children? And let them be free? Why sweat they under burdens? Why should they carry this much loads, heavy loads? Let their beds be made as soft as yours, and let their palates be seasoned with such wines. So do I ask you, why don't they treat them as your own children? Why don't you give them soft words as yours? Why don't you treat them with same food what you eat? In that context, what will you say? You will answer, the slaves are ours. So do I answer you? What answer you will give me? The slaves are mine. I will do whatever I want. I will do whatever I wish. The same way, I also answer. The pound of flesh which I demand of him is dearly bought. It's mine and I will have it. If you deny me, fie upon your law. There is no force in the decrees of Venice. I stand for judgment. Answer, shall I have it? So, same way. So, what examples is giving? Duke told him that if Shylock did not show mercy towards others, he would not be getting mercy from God. Shylock's answer was that he does not fear, or he did not fear any judgment, because he had not done anything wrong. And he is proving his point that he is not going to be judged by God after his death, or he is not going to get punishment, by giving this proof. That is, the Duke has kept so many animals as slaves, and whether he will be ready, or he would be ready to marry them off to their children, and whether he would give them beds as soft as his beds, or whether he would give him food as tasty as his food. Then what would be the Duke's answer? No, because they are slaves. It is my wish. I am not going to give them because they are my slaves. The same way, Now the pound of flesh is mine, Shylock says. The pound of flesh is mine, and I have got it with much difficulty. With much difficulty I have got it, and at any cost I will have it. And if you deny, if the Duke denies the law, and it will be a shame on their legal system. There is no legal authority in Venice to deny this to him. Nobody can deny him to take the penalty. I demand the judgment now. Answer me whether I shall have it or not. So, Duke, upon my paw, I may dismiss his court, unless Bellario, a learned doctor, whom I have sent for to determine this, come here today. So here, the Duke is adjourning the court. The Duke is dismissing the court till Dr. Bellario reaches there. Celerio, my lord, here stays without a messenger, with letters from the doctor, new come from Padua. My lord, a messenger is already reached here, and he is waiting outside with letters from Dr. Bellario. Bring the letters, call the messenger. Good cheer, Antonio. Bassanio is talking to Antonio, encouraging, encouraging. Good cheer, Antonio. What man, courage yet. The Jew shall have my flesh, blood, bones, and all, ere thou shalt lose for me one drop of blood. So Bassanio is pacifying Antonio. Bassanio is asking him to be happy, to cheer up, to have courage. And the Jew will have Bassanio's blood, flesh and bones before Antonio losing one drop of blood from his body. That assurance he is giving. That means at any cost, Bassanio will be saving Antonio from the clutches of, from the hands of Shylock. Antonio, I am attained a wether of the flock. Children, this part is very important. Mark it is important. I am attained a wether of the flock. Meetest for death. The weakest kind of fruit drops earliest to the ground. And so let me. You cannot better be employed, Bassanio, than to live still and write mine epitaph. So Antonio has accepted his fate. He has resigned to his fate. So he says that he is like a sick sheep in the group, in the herd. And the sickest, the most sick sheep. And he should be slaughtered before others because he is the sickest and the most sick one. The weakest fruit falls earliest from the tree, so let me die. So I am the weak. In this group, I am the weakest person. So let me die first. It will be a fitting task for you, Bassanio, to live and write the inscriptions on my tombstone. So he is telling that it is your duty to write inscriptions on the tombstone. You would have seen that. In some of the religions, on the tombstone, they write some words, some inscriptions will be there. So it is your duty to do that. It is good for you. You should do that. Then enter Nerissa, dressed like a lawyer's clerk. Duke, came you from Padua, from Bellario? Duke is asking. Nerissa, from both, my lord. Bellario greets your grace. Bellario has sent his greetings to you, Duke. Presents a letter. Nerissa presents a letter. And how is she dressed up? Very important. Dressed like a lawyer's clerk. Okay. Bassanio, why dost thou whet thy knife so earnestly? So here on the side there is a conversation between Bassanio and Shylock. Shylock was whetting his knife. That means sharpening his knife. So Bassanio is asking, why do you sharpen your knife? With lot of care, with lot of attention. To cut the forfeiture from that bankrupt there. So I have to take Shylock's answers, I have to take a pound of flesh from that bankrupt man. So for that, Gratiano, not on thy soul, but on thy soul, harsh Jew. That means you are not sharpening the knife, but you are sharpening your soul. That means you are making your soul more and more envious. That is, your envy is sharper than the knife. and you are making that more. You are not actually sharpening the knife, you are sharpening your soul. That means you are making your soul more and more envious and getting ready to take that revenge. Thou makest thy knife keen, but no metal can, no, not the hangman's axe, bear half the keenness of thy sharp envy. Gratiano says that. Gratiano heard them talking, so he says that you are not sharpening the knife, you are sharpening your soul. You are making your soul more and more envious. And not even the axe of a hangman can have half the sharpness of your envy. Shylock is so envious towards Antonio. Even the hangman, one who is going to hang the people, culprits, even he will not be this, envious. But you are more envious than everyone. Even I think even prayers cannot move your heart. Even prayers cannot soften your heart. He says that Gratiano says that. Shylock, no, none that thou hast wit enough to make. No, your prayers are not strong enough to make my heart softer. So no, none that you are clever enough to make. You people cannot do that. Gratiano, oh, be thou damned in execrable dog, and for my life, thy life, lest justice be accused. So Gratiano is so annoyed now, so angry now. May you be damned, shameless man, in execrable dog, shameless man. Justice ought to be blamed for letting you live. Yes, you should have been killed earlier. We should not have allowed you. The law of Venice should not have allowed you to live. It was a mistake of the law for letting you live so long. And thou almost makest me waver in my faith, to hold opinion with Pythagoras that souls of animals infuse themselves into the trunks of man. He says that once I had refused the law, the belief. Once I had refused the belief, I never believed that the souls of animals get into the souls of other human beings and other animals. Okay, there was a belief. In Elizabethan period, there was a belief that souls of animals get into the body of, or get into the souls of human beings. I had disbelieved this fact. But you are forcing me to believe that. Thy courage spirit governed a wolf who hanged for human slaughter, even from the gallows did his fell soul fleet, and whilst thou layest in thy unhallowed dam, infused itself in thee. It's a very important part, children. It is. He says that actually your soul was the soul of a wolf, and your evil spirit once lived in the body of a wolf who was hanged for killing a man. When he was hanged, his soul, the wolf's soul, escaped directly from the wolf's body and entered into your mother's womb. That time Shylock was in the womb of his mother. In the womb of his mother. So actually your soul is a wolf's soul. And the wolf was hanged for killing a man. So when the wolf died, the soul entered into your mother's womb and entered your soul. And that's why you are wolf-like, you are bloodthirsty, and you are hungry always to take revenge. Okay. So what does he say that? You are a shameless man. And law of Venice should be blamed for letting you live here so long. And I had some belief. You make me doubt about my religious faith. I had refused the fact that, or I had refused the belief that, it is a belief, not fact, belief. I had refused the belief that after the death of animals, the souls enter into human beings. I did not believe that all this time, but now I believe. That is, your soul is the soul of a wolf. The wolf was hanged for killing a man. So when the wolf was hanged, its soul entered into your mother's womb. and making your mother unholy. No mother can be unholy. But here I have to call your mother unholy because she has given birth to you. Then Shylock, till thou canst rail me the seal from thy bone of my bones, though but offends thy lungs to speak so loud. He says that even your abusive words, until your abusive words destroy the legal safeguard from my agreement, you are only hurting your lungs. That means these abusive words cannot destroy or cannot change the law from here. Until the law is not changing, I am not going to change my bond. So you are just speaking this and hurting your lungs. There is no use of using abusive words. The law is not going to change, and if the law is not changed, I can take my penalty. Then repair thy wit, good youth, or it will fall to cureless ruin. I stand here for law. So whatever you say, no use, come to your senses, and otherwise you are going to destroy yourself. I am going to claim the justice. This letter, so here Duke, this letter from Bellario doth comment a young and learned doctor to our court. Where is he? So he's asking that. Here Duke, after reading the letter, says that a young doctor is coming, learned doctor, doctor of law. Okay, doctor of law, lawyer is coming there. And who is that going to come? Portia, in disguise of a lawyer. There is a he attendance here hard by to know your answer, where you will admit him. He is standing here only, close by, and he is waiting for an answer whether you will allow him to come inside or use his services. With all my heart, some 3 or 4 of you go, give him courteous conduct to this place. Meantime, the court shall hear Bellario's letter. So Duke ordered his attendants to go and bring Portia disguised as lawyer. By the time the clerk is reading the letter, your grace shall understand. So these exact words are of Dr. Bellario, who is a lawyer, and clerk, who is clerk here, Nerissa disguised as clerk, is reading. Your grace shall understand that at the receipt of your letter, I am very sick. So why Dr. Bellario didn't come? He is very sick. But in the instant that your messenger came, in loving variation with me, a young doctor of Rome. So that time when your letter came, your messenger came, there was a doctor with me. There was a young doctor with me from Rome. His name is Balthazar. Okay, the young doctor's name is Balthazar. So Portia has come here in the name of Balthazar. I acquainted him with the cause in controversy between the Jew and Antonio, the merchant. So I made him understand about the case between Antonio and Shylock. We turned over many books together. We referred so many law books. He is furnished with my opinion. That means he is aware of my opinion about the case. That means whatever I knew about the case, I told him, I informed him. And which bettered with his own learning. He is also a learned person. So my knowledge and his knowledge together, he has got better knowledge. His learning, the greatness whereof I cannot enough comment, comes with him at my importunity to fill up your grace's request in my stead. So instead of me, he is going to come here, and I don't have words to praise that person. One who is coming here because he has got a very vast knowledge, and along with his vast knowledge, I too have given information to him. I too have given him information regarding the case. Then I beseech you, let his lack of years be no impediment to let him lack a reverent estimation. So I just request you, don't think that he is very young. He looks very young, and he is very young in age. So that is not a negative point for him, and accept him. I never knew so young a body with so old a head. Very important, children. So underline this. I never knew so young a body with so old head. He's in age he is very young, but he has got a good knowledge, deep thinking. I leave him to your gracious acceptance, whose trial shall better publish his commendations. So please accept him and he would be able to help you. Duke, you hear the learned Bellario, what he writes, and here I take it is the doctor come. So is the doctor come and asking the doctor to come inside, and she has come. Portia in disguise of the lawyer. Give me your hand. Come you from Dr. old Bellario? Portia, I did, my lord. Duke, you are welcome. Take your place. Are you acquainted with the indifference that holds this present situation? Question in the court. Do you know about the case which is going on here? The nature of the case? Portia, I am informed thoroughly of the cause, which is a merchant here and which is a Jew. So she said, yes, I am informed thoroughly of the cause. I know about the case thoroughly. And who is a merchant here and who is a Jew? Duke, Antonio and old Shylock both stand forth. So Duke is calling both of them front side. Is your name Shylock? Shylock is my name. Portia, of a strange nature is a suit you follow. It's a very strange case what you are following. Portia says she felt when she heard the nature of the case, she felt that is very strange. Yet in such rule that the Venetian law cannot impugn you as to proceed. So she said, yes, the case is very strange. Still, the law of Venice cannot find faith in your case. That means the law does not want to support your case actually. And to Antonio, you stand within his danger. Do you? You have got danger from him, from Shylock. Antonio, yeah. So he says, Portia, do you confess the bond? You agree with the bond? Antonio, I do. Then must the Jew be merciful? Yes, if you agree with the bond that you have done mistake, then there is only one way to escape for you, that is the Jew should be merciful towards you. Shylock, on what compulsion must I? Tell me that. So hearing this, Shylock got annoyed. He's asking that why should I? Why should I show mercy towards him? Tell me. So here children, till this I am going to explain this video. I have explained till this, and let us see in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.